tell you something, please? Okay. The first song is going to be Feel So Right.
Yeah.
And so all you have to do is press play. After the song, you have to press pause. And you have to use the dashboard to make sure we don't people this is unknown. And make sure that's queued up with. And then when I say go.
Saan man kayo, laging tandaan na nandirito lang kami. Karangalan natin ang inyong tagumpay sa inyong paglalakbay.
Saan man tayo, ibalita natin ang ating tagumpay. Alang-alang sa barkadang nakasubaybay at handang umalalay.
Tayo'y sama-sama sa hirap at ginhawa. Magkaibigan, habang buhay, kahit tayo'y mahiwalay, dito lang kami nakaalalay.
Magkaagapay, isang pamilyang magkakaakbay, kapit kamay, magkasama sa ligay at magkaramay sa lumbay. Magkaibigan habang buhay, saan man kayo, lagi niyong isipin ang ating pinagmulan. Magbabarkadang tunay noon hanggang ngayon at sa habang panahon.
Saan man tayo, alagaan natin ng ating samahan. Malakas, walang katumbas at walang iwanan, at laging maaasahan. Tayo'y sama-sama sa hirap at ginhawa. Magkaibigan, habang buhay, kahit tayo'y mahiwalay, dito lang kami nakaalalay. Tayo'y sama-sama sa hirap at ginhawa. Magkaibigan, habang buhay, kahit tayo'y mahiwalay, dito lang kami. Tayo'y sama-sama sa hirap at ginhawa. Magkaibigan, habang buhay, kahit tayo'y mahiwalay, dito lang kami nakaalalay.
Magkaagapay, isang pamilyang
It is too loud. You're too old. Radio 100.7. From the capital city of the Philippines. On air and online. The station that plays the biggest hits. This is Manila's Radio 100.7.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let us pray.
Panalangin manlilikhawit. Panginoon, aming Ama, kami ay lubos na nagpapasalamat sa iyong mga biyaya. Narito kaming magkakatipon. Nagsusumamong kami ay iyong gabayan at pagindapatin na maging mabuti at kapaki-pakinabang na mga manlilikhawit. Nawa ang aming musika ay maghandog ng kasiyahan at kapayapaan, at ang aming tinig ay maging himig ng iyong pagmamahal at paghihilom. Pagpalain at patnubayan niyo po kami at ang aming mga mahal sa buhay, ngayon at magpasawalang hanggan. Amen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sundown Friday. Of course, with DJ Gail here. And today, I have a very, very, very special guest. Actually, an old friend of ours, of mine and Eric. And of course, a friend actually of everyone because he brings a lot of international artists to the Philippines. Woo! This guy is an American vocalist who has toured and performed internationally with a wide variety of contemporary rock artists that include Peter Bryson, Stephen Bishop, Dan Hill, also have John Ford Coley, Jimmy Jamison, Yvonne Elliman, and a lot more. And he is a headliner and host and founder of the official Love Rocks. Yeah, I'm a witness of these Love Rock concert series. Tracks from J. Michael's albums have sold and streamed across 6 continents and 140 countries. Wow, a lot has to be said about this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome J. Michaels. How are you, J. Michaels?
Don't forget,
Hi there, how are you?
don't forget once the song is finished.
Can Hi there, good afternoon. Welcome to the show, J. Michaels. How are you doing today? Woo!
Well, thank you for inviting me to the show. Glad
Yeah.
to be here.
I was actually introducing you a while ago, but I didn't realize I was on mute. But anyways, let me do that again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sundown Friday, and with me, I have a very special guest today. He's actually out there in Dubai, doing a lot of events there, but he is an American vocalist who has toured and performed internationally, and with a wide variety of contemporary rock artists that include Peter Bryson, yeah, remember that show. Stephen Bishop, Dan Hill, John Ford Coley, Jim Jamison, Yvonne Elliman, and others. And he is a headliner, host, and founder of the official Love Rocks concert series. Yeah, I remember those shows actually that we did at Resorts World Manila. And today, ladies and gentlemen, a very good friend of mine on the show, live, flesh, inhuman, or just virtually. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome J. Michaels. Hi there, how are you doing
Thank
today?
you so much, DJ Gail. It's a pleasure to be here. And really miss live performances, of course, but we're going to do our best to get through in the virtual world. Our main focus, of course, is bringing music to our fans, friends, families, and bringing a little bit of joy to the world. And so every means possible, every medium possible. And so we thank you for putting on these kinds of shows to continue the joy of music it brings to our lives and our souls. So thank you very much as well.
Wow, it's so great to know. Thank you also, J. Michaels, for accepting my invitation. I know it's a short notice and there were, lots of changes before we got into this show today. But really, thank you. Thank you also to Sir Bong Rivera for, connecting us because I didn't know that you were in Dubai. And thank you also, Jen Leah, for sending your music today. I really appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, you might be wondering why I know J. Michaels. He's a foreigner, right? It's actually first time to have a foreign artist on my show on Sundown Friday. This is actually the first one since last year. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a story. I don't know if it's almost a decade ago. Yeah, I met this guy at Resorts World Manila and I was actually intimidated because at first I didn't know that he was this friendly. Do you remember that? That was the first time. And he was actually introduced to me by a common friend. And he brought this something like profile of several artists, and I said, oh my goodness, how am I gonna deal with this guy? I was scared with all the artists written on the profile. I said, oh my god, they're too expensive, but that's how it all started. I got to know him, and we were able to do some shows, and we built friendship over the years. And although we lose contact because I left Resorts World in 2014, but still, this guy still keeps in touch, and whenever they have big shows at Resorts World, the Newport Performing Arts Theater, he makes sure that, he keeps in touch, especially with Eric, and, give us free tickets, VIP tickets. That's actually the best part of being his friend. So, J. Michaels, I was just wondering, why are you in Dubai? Because the last time you were here in the Philippines, right? We were on the show. We watched your show. That was, I think, Dan Hill, right? In 2018?
That would be 2019. We did our Love Rock show at the Performing Arts Theater, yes, at Resorts World, and my guests were Dan Hill and one of your local legends, Jonathan Potenciano.
Yeah.
Jonathan's a very good, well, first off and foremost, he's an extremely talented singer, performer, and not to mention he's a Pinoy that's a transplant he's from Manila, but he moved to the United States and became one of the biggest lounge stars, very high in demand in Las Vegas. So that's a nice success story of one of the Pinoys, going abroad and really making a name for himself within the music industry. And I got to tell you, I mean, of course, Dan Hill, I love and admire. We do some of these shows, but every concert I try to feature at least 2 to 3 guests. And Jonathan Potencial was, I believe that's the last show that we had in the Philippines, which was 2019. And of course, everything with COVID struck in 2020, so nothing since then. But our guests are phenomenal, and I bring up the Philippine connection and how it's taken all over the world. Now you ask, why am I in Dubai? Well, I literally travel the world for entertainment purposes. Of course, on the performing side, as well as on the business end of things. I work with various venues in venue designs and stage designs and production services, as well as providing artists all over the world. So even while I'm here in Dubai, I'm not doing any live performances because those haven't quite come back yet. But I am helping some venues get all lined up for a new series, to hit at least by the end of this year, 2021, with some live performances, and open up fully 2022 with some full-scale shows, including bringing some Philippine artists here to Dubai and some American artists to Dubai. And here's a little thing about my connection with the Philippines. It's a secret, okay? I was actually born in Manila. I'm from Pasay, and so.
No way! You're not.
Yes. Yes, I mean, you can see I'm white. I'm American citizen, European descent, but I was born there because my parents were living in the Philippines at the time, way back in, I'm not going to say the year. But yes, I am born in the Philippines, so I have a very close affinity with the people and with the spirit of the Filipino people, and very grateful for it. I'm very grateful for my, it's part of my heritage as well. So if anyone wonders, well, why is he always performing in the Philippines? Well, that's part of it. And we've done shows at Araneta Coliseum, Cebu, and waterfront there, and Davao to Tagum to General Santos. So I've literally toured much of the major cities and different spots throughout. I remember Rex Smith. You guys all know Rex Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Simply Jesse, of course.
I had a tour with myself, Rex Smith, and Dan Hill, and we had a chance to visit Cagayan de Oro after one of the big typhoons, and so we went and spent some time with some of the districts and barangay that were very heavily hit, and we got to see some of the aftermath, and part of the proceeds from the concert that we did in Cagayan de Oro went to that. So again, even though we have a lot of artists that, I don't know, when you look at them on paper, or they look like they're wow, they've sold 100 million albums, they sold 100 million CDs. We're all people, and we all connect with our fans, and we all are very appreciative of going into these cities and being a part of the community best we can. And to put it succinctly, is we love our fans, and we are so happy that our fans love us. So again, thank you for having me here on your station. It's a great joy.
It's also a pleasure to have you today. So that explains why you love Philippines so much. I didn't know that you were born here. And you
Yes.
actually pronounced Pasay very clearly.
Talaga?
Yeah, talaga. See, now my next question is, do you know Filipino words? Or do you sing Tagalog
But
songs?
we can't stay on the air. So actually, I already have to tell the taxi driver, hey, we're going the wrong way. Dito lang, dito lang. No. Kaliwa, kaliwa. Okay.
That's funny.
Malapit sa Shakwais, di ba? Okay. You know that this Tagalog thing, of course. And you know, and I love Asia in general. I'm going to say that probably 80% of our shows, of course, we still do things in the U.S. and other parts of the world, but a great majority of our music is really enjoyed in Asia, Philippines in particular. But Malaysia is very strong, and Singapore, and you know, all throughout Asia, Japan, and things like that. So you know, it's a wonderful region in whole, and it's such a great pleasure to always come back to the Philippines. I do maintain a residence there, so it's you know, it's easy for me. And to tell you a little bit more about my show is that even if I'm doing a show in Malaysia, for example, or in Singapore, for example, all of my musicians, we're all based out of Manila. So we do our rehearsals in Manila, and then we'll jump to you know, Kuala Lumpur or Singapore or what have you. And so it's all Philippine musicianship and background vocals that really get a lot of the credit for really how great our shows, the professionalism and the musicianship coming out of the Philippines. I have to give tremendous kudos to my to one of the background vocalists who's been with me for she's been with me at least, I think, 7 or 8 years. Her name is Lara Cuevas, and she was with Viva. She's a recording sensation there. She's had a couple of hits. I'm going to say Sana Minsan Pa is one of her hits, which was pretty big, amongst others. But she's been singing background and lead within my show for at least, I think, the past 7 or 8 years. So this is just a testament to some of the you know, the real talent, the true talent that comes out of the Philippines. When 2 quick stories, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead. We have all the time in the world.
Okay. So
This show is really about you.
So we were doing the show, and this was the first time Dan would be coming and singing some duets, and he was a little bit concerned. Mike, well, you know, when I was there last time, I sang with Regine Velasquez. You know who that is? I said, yes, of course. Everyone knows who Regine Velasquez is.
Yeah.
And well, you know, so I just and I know you're going to always have somebody great singing with me, but I just really want to emphasize it. They have to be really good qualities, you know. And then as soon as he heard Laura sing, they just jumped right into it and started singing. Sometimes when we touch as a duet, and then when it's Dan's turn, he was like, "Hold on, wait, man, she just blew me away. She's so good."
Yeah. Yeah, I know Lara is a very good singer. I think I saw her already. I watched her perform with you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
In most
and
of your
so
shows.
a lot of the duets, Dan has so many duets, and so Dan Hill wrote a lot of the tunes for Celine Dion. Some of her Seduces Me album, which is one of her biggest selling albums, Celine Dion. Dan Hill wrote the title cover called Seduces Me. Now, when we do our shows together, Dan doesn't sing Seduces Me. He sings all of his other songs, and many of them are his duets, like Can't We Try, and Sometimes When We Touch. And so he does that as a duet. But he does put in his segment of the show Seduces Me, a song that he wrote for Celine Dion. But the only person that he has sing that ever is Laura. So that's just kind of a testament to to some of the talent that comes out, and I've been honored and blessed to be working with these people. My musical director, Danny Favis, and my former musical director, Carlo all out of the Philippines, and just tremendous talent. And just another quick story with a man who's considered one of the best male vocalists in the world. And he's won a Grammy for Best Male Vocal. So People Bryson, everybody knows. I can show you the world.
Are you gonna sing that later?
Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that song. Just in case they couldn't remember, People Bryson is the guy that did that. That's People Bryson. I didn't do it justice, but I did my best. I did my best. Actually, but so we have People Bryson, and a very similar story. And we were doing a show. We were doing a concert. It was a Love Rocks, and People was my headline guest in the show, People Bryson. And again, at rehearsal, People comes up to me before rehearsal, and he said, "Mike, hey Jay, Mr. Jay Michaels, I gotta know something. Who's doing duets with me? I'm like the duet king. I've done performed with Roberta Flack. I've performed with Lea Salonga. I've sung with Denise Williams.
Right.
Who's doing my duets with me on this show?" I said, "Laura Cuevas."
Woo!
He said, "Okay, great. I know you're gonna put something good before me. So let's just jump right into this rehearsal, and let's start with A Whole New World and Beauty and the Beast." So first two songs right out of the gate were Beauty and the Beast and Whole New World, and Laura sang that, and the first few notes out of Laura's mouth, People looked up at me and said,
Wow,
like
shout
that.
out to Lara, wherever you are. Woo!
Hey, and maybe she can join us on the thing.
Yeah, please. Is she there right now?
No, she's in the Philippines. She's in where? Pasay.
Oh, in Pasay. Maybe next week we can have her on the show. It's just available. Just free.
Yeah, we'll touch bases with her. But I just like to bring that in, and not to diminish any of the other vocalists, of course. That have worked with us. I mean, we've done concert tours that included Kula Desma. We did a tour throughout the East Coast. We did Chicago and some other cities there, which also had Stephen Bishop and John Ford Coley. Everyone knows Stephen Bishop, right?
Right.
I've been passing time, watching trains go by all of my life. Yeah, that's Stephen. Everyone knows Stephen Bishop.
It might be you as well.
Yeah.
Might be. I love that too.
And John Ford Coley, just tell me you love me.
Oh yeah, Sad to Belong as well.
Yeah. John is a regular in the Philippines, obviously. The Filipinos just love his music, and rightfully so, because it's just timeless and absolutely classic music. All of his big hits when he was with England Dan and John Ford Coley. Some of the other great artists that I really have had the honor of having in my show, and we've lost, but I really love to mention them because they influenced me. These guys are all my senior. I'm a little bit younger than them. Okay?
Yeah, it's actually obvious.
but I have to say, working with Michael Johnson, you guys know Michael Johnson? 'Cause I'm bluer than blue.
Of course, my favorite is I'll Always Love You.
Yeah.
That's my
yes.
favorite.
I'll Always Love You is such a huge hit.
Of course it is.
Big hit in the Philippines. Oh, I mean worldwide, obviously. And we did a tour throughout the Philippines with Michael Johnson, and we did a couple more, brought him there. And unfortunately, I think it was about 3 years ago, he did pass away, and so we miss him tremendously. The Love Rocks family and the world of music misses a legend like that. And then another gentleman that I did quite a bit of work with, guest in our Love Rock shows, is Jimmy Jameson from Survivor. He was the lead singer from Survivor. If you guys all remember Manny Pacquiao, almost every fight, and this would be in the mid 2010, 11, etc. He always had the eye of the tiger.
Yeah.
Jimmy Jameson singing for him as he entered the ring, and of course one of the big hits for the Philippines. What is that one? What is that one? I never knew what brought me here. As if somebody led my hand.
Yeah. Ever since the world began.
Ever since the world began.
Yeah, Survivor. Yeah. Wow.
So Jimmy Jameson, I mean, great times together, great shows together. Such a phenomenal talent, and unfortunately, we lost him as well. So I'd like to at least bring up some of these people that have been a big part of my musical journey, my musical influence, my musical times, and how I got ahead in all this, and so they're a big part of our. And fortunately, as much as we miss them, their music does go on. Their music does carry on. This Bluer Than Blue is never,
Of course.
never going to go away. So we have to be thankful for that.
Yeah, I noticed that's actually one of your personal favorites, right? The Bluer Than Blue. You always mention that when you have a show.
Well, I try to mention folks that have been part of our show, and in actuality, I think that one of the last shows that we did, I think with Pivo and then with Dan at Resort World, I did bring up Michael Johnson because we had lost him just recently, and I tried to pay a little bit of homage to me as a fallen soldier. He's part of my team, a great influence and a great soul. Michael Johnson just was a wonderful man, wonderful person, and you could sit to him and talk about music, and you could talk about just all kinds of things, life in general. And he was just like that great uncle, just that uncle that you just love to sit and listen to his stories. He had so much wisdom about everything in life, and so it really touched me. And a living legend, in the same sentence, one of the guys that I got to work with recently, before the lockdown, it was Engelbert Humperdinck. And again, his stories are just amazing. Oh yeah, Elvis Presley with his sideburns. Well, he got that from me. He saw me with these sideburns, and then he decided to grow his sideburns. So Elvis Presley, at least according to Engelbert, Elvis Presley grew his sideburns because he thought they looked so good on Engelbert.
Oh my goodness. A lot
That's
of
just a little bit of the experience in my journey in this. I've been very fortunate, obviously, to be granted some of these gifts by God, to be able to write music, perform, and I'm very thankful to the audiences and the our fans for continuing to come and see our shows and partake of our new things coming out. I know the world is filled with all kinds of music and all kinds of mediums. It used to take a multi-million-dollar record deal just to get a song out. Now with the advent of internet and some of these platforms, nearly anyone can get their music out, and so the music industry has just absolutely changed over the past decades. I'm not smart enough to evaluate it for the good or for the bad. I'm not that smart.
Okay.
But my take on it is, the more information, the better. The more that's out there, the better. the individual can decide what they like, what they don't like. There are different tastes, different genres, different approaches. We're a world of 7 billion people. Each and every one has their own opinion and their own right to their own opinion. So, bless the world for that. And we have a lot of new music.
You have very beautiful stories, Mike. I'm going to ask you more questions later on. I'm going to ask you, how did you start with this business and how did you start with your career? Because you're a very good singer. I'm a witness of that, and I really thank you also for, lifting the spirits of especially Filipino musicians. You always work with them, and I really appreciate how you value them. And I know we Filipinos are really, really great singers. That's also one of my wish list that I'll be able to perform. But whenever I'm on stage, I can only talk and host. Singing, nah. Anyways, I know you prepared some songs for us today. As a singer, I know you would love to share it and inspire the world today, especially the artists out there. What's your first song, J. Michaels? What have you prepared for us?
Okay, I'm gonna do a song that I covered on an album, and I performed at a number of the shows. It's called, what is it called? Oh, Feels So Right.
Okay.
And it's just go ahead, stuff. But it's just Filipinos love songs, so I'm gonna play along with it.
Of course,
And,
of course.
hope you
There
guys
you
like
go.
it.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome J. Michaels with the song Feel So Right here on Sundown Friday. Here we go. Woo!
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
So,
Take it away, Mike.
sorry. Just a second.
Okay. No problem. Hi to Rich Kai from the Philippine Online Games. Thank you for watching. Belinda Basula, Emma May Balastramon, thank you so much. And of course, happy birthday to Jodaline Tenebraso. Hi to my Ninang Malu. Thank you also for watching, Ninang. DJ Eric is also watching right now, and he likes to say hi to you.
Whisper to me softly, 3 words that calm my skin. No one's here and listen. Please don't say goodbye. So hold me close and love me. Press your lips to mine. Ooh, feels so right. Feels so right. Lying here beside you, I hear the echoes of your sigh. Promise me, stay with me, keep me warm tonight. Just hold me close, love me, and give my heart a smile. Ooh, feels so right, feels so right. Your body feels so gentle, my passion rises high. You're loving me so easy, your wish is my command. Just hold me close and love me, and tell me this world is. Ooh, feels so right, feels so right. It feels so right. Philippines.
Yeah. Woo! That's from Alabama, right? That song? Original song by Alabama? Is that right?
That's correct.
Is that your personal favorite? One of your personal
Alabama?
favorites?
Is that my personal favorite of Alabama, or is that my personal favorite in the world? I think that, the interesting thing about some of these country, especially some of the classic country, they just wrote some of the most beautiful lyrics.
Sorry, Mike. Can you go get closer to the microphone because our sound is kind of, There you
Okay.
go. Yeah, that's better. There you go. Yeah, we were talking about Alabama a while ago. Sorry about that.
Alabama, and some of their songs, I mean, the lyrics are just so absolutely beautiful. And this goes for a lot of the country writers, and but it's just really a very nice expression of how a man feels about his woman, and so I just find it a very heartwarming and soulful, beautiful lyrics. Whisper to me softly, 3 words upon my skin. So it's not one of the ones that I wrote, but it's one of the ones that I love singing and playing. So it's a wonderful song.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Well, that's actually a very nice song. Yeah, these days, especially when pandemic started, I only want to listen to songs that really makes me feel good. Sometimes I just, I can still listen to some they call hugot songs, but not really into it. That's why I stopped playing, online. I focused more on online shows because it really just brings my tears, down. I just easily cry whenever I play those kind of music, especially when my favorite singer just, passed or something like that. That's why I focused on these kind of shows. And since last year, I bring artists to the show just to inspire everyone. So now let's talk about inspiration. We want to know, how did you start with your career? I mean, how all of these, came up. I mean, right now you're very successful. You're bringing a lot of foreign artists around the world. But how did you start? How old did you start singing, Jay Michaels?
Well, I started. I grew up in Hawaii. If you don't know where Hawaii is, here's the Philippines. Here's the big Pacific Ocean. Hawaii's right in the middle. It's part of the United States, but I grew up there. But we had a very vibrant music scene.
Mm-hmm.
I initially got involved because I was representing some local artists there, and I also had a production company which we did concerts, staging, lighting, and I started that at a very young age. But what happened, and I would do some singing in a few of the local clubs and things like that, but it wasn't really my thing. Now, I started promoting this one artist who was phenomenal and an incredible history of working with groups like Earth, Wind and Fire and Cheryl Lynn and things like that. But he was a little bit undependable. So sometimes he would show up and sometimes he didn't. So there was this one rehearsal he didn't show up to, and the entire band was upset. And I said, okay, we'll rehearse the show. I'll do all the vocals. And then the whole band said, well, why don't you just do that and do the show? So I ended up doing some of the bigger shows, and then I ended up getting a recording contract and recorded a few albums and wrote some songs and wrote some other songs with other people. So it's just kind of like a snowball effect. It started really by accident. It wasn't, and I don't want to diminish anyone. Everyone has a different path. If this is your life's dream and you pursue it, that's great. If it wasn't your life's dream and you still ended up in it, well, that's just as good. To me, I mean, we are where we are, and we all have to work hard at what we're doing. And we all have to take our God-given talent and hopefully do the best with it we can. But I came from a slightly different approach. I wasn't 4 years old, and yes, I took piano lessons, but I wasn't. Actually, I have to take that back. I really thought I was going to be Elton John. But I guess it was part of me the whole time. But I had other business interests within. I had other interests within the entertainment business, and I have to say that you, as an artist, you should really also try to understand the business side. I've seen so many people that are so talented lose everything and have to start all over again. One of the biggest artists in the world, Billy Joel, lost everything. Willie Nelson lost everything. And this has to do with not totally understanding the business side of things. And so it's important. So my background is in business and music and performing arts. So, I'm fortunate. And that doesn't mean I didn't lose. I had my fair share of losses. This is a tough business like any other business. And you can suffer losses. And again, God bless all the working musicians and talent that have literally been out of work for the past year and a half. This is how folks feed their families, you know, doing gigs at Cowboy Grill. I just plugged one of my favorite, all these clubs throughout Manila and Cebu, all the live music, and my heart really goes out to them because even for me, the performance, which is part of the income, just falls off a cliff, and folks who live day to day, not even month to month, feeding their families with their music. It's been a real tough time. I know some folks go online and things like that, but the revenue comes from, for the small working musicians, they work at a club. The club makes money selling food and beverage. Food and beverage sales pays for the artist. So with food and beverage closed, the artist can't perform because we all know it's just been difficult. No view on the whole thing other than it's been a difficult time for everyone. And so my heart really goes out to working musicians and singers that have really been a part, and the entertainment industry as a whole, production. There are no concerts, so the guys that own the sound systems and the lighting and the video screens and work really hard to produce our shows. They've all been out of work for a year and a half. Restaurants, that cater our stuff backstage, the ushers in the arenas, and my love for them all, and my heart goes out to everyone. This is a hard, difficult time, and with God's grace, we're going to get through this stuff.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, it's really actually hard, especially for us, in the entertainment industry. We are really, we are the people who are really had the hardest hit, right? Should I say? And it's a year and a half already, and we are still in this pandemic. I want to ask you, Mike, how are you surviving and how are you coping with this situation? Being a seasoned artist, I know you're very strong, but being not on the show for 1.5 years, I don't know, I can't imagine. But what about you? How are you so far?
To put a personal on a personal level, yes, it's absolutely been very difficult. A performing artist like myself thrives. I feel alive when I'm on stage, and I bring my art form to a live forum. It's wonderful. I love that my music gets played on the radio. I love it, and I love creating. I love sitting at the piano.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And creating something. I love all that. But I tell you, my true passion comes from being out on stage, seeing the people smile. Even if it's a big arena, my first couple of songs, I try to walk through the entire arena and high five, take selfies. Even if it takes 20 minutes to do 2 songs or even 1 song, just so I can touch as many bodies and embrace as many of my fans in person. That is all gone. I absolutely appreciate this format that we have today, that folks can listen on the radio and folks can watch on the internet and things like that. But the personal interaction that I have with people is to me psychologically devastating. It's very difficult. The financial side, it's also difficult. we all have to stay safe, and I understand these things, but lives are being decimated by not being able to work. So even on the financial side, it's difficult. Of course, I mean, and that all comes down to the individual and things like that. But really, what this is doing to our ability to have that human interaction, me as a performer, or you being able to go see your tita or lolo or things like that. These things are all cut off, and to say good, have to say goodbye to a loved one, and not be able to do it in person, and maybe they're not tech savvy or weak or old or don't have internet. I mean, it's just a countless unimaginable fallout from the entire thing. It's actually just devastating. It's absolutely but I thank God for my health, of course, and I work hard at staying healthy. This is something that's taught everyone, and I've been fortunate that I learned a long time ago that I need to really stay healthy. And I hope people have woken up to this. Oh, I hope people are woke. Isn't that what everyone says? Hey, you're not woke, man. Anyway, yes, I went on about this, but it's an important subject, I think, that this human spirit, this human interaction, is such a necessary part of our lives.
Of course,
To
because we're
embrace our
social
loved-
beings. Yeah.
to embrace our loved ones. And I love my fans. Like I say, at every concert, I do my best, and that's why I try to stay in shape, because it's a difficult thing to run all
Of
throughout
course.
Arnetta Coliseum and get to as many people.
Yeah.
I need a break. But I try to do that. It's really important for me. For me, it is. And performing live is sadly missed, and I anxiously await the day that it returns worldwide, so we can get back out there. And this goes for a lot of us. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah.
Very important
Yeah.
question.
It's really sad, actually. I know how it feels, because for me, I am also doing events, and 1.5 years with no gigs. But I've just tried to divert my attention doing online shows, and trying to help people the best that I can. And like you on the show is actually something for me. It's really an honor to have you on the show, sharing your experiences and being an inspiration to everyone. That's actually how should I say, a memorable one. And people who are watching right now, I know they're also inspired by your stories. And although all of us are experiencing pandemic, but look at you, how you manage, the situation, looking at you still looking good, and still fit and still guapo, diba? We're all inspired. Yeah, I know that you also write songs, right? You're a composer and a songwriter. When did you discover, J. Michaels, that you have this talent, and what was the first song that you wrote? Do you still remember?
I think when I was 4 or 5 years old, I would write a little bit of music, just basic, real basic things, but and write some words to it, and I think I was always better at music than I was at lyrics. So I find myself a rather prolific lyric or putting things to pen. I just always liked the music side of it. And so I discovered pretty young that I could. I didn't do very much commercially. I tended to stick towards cover. But for every album and almost every project, I've written some of the songs, or co-written. I've even written some songs with writing legends like Dan Hill. After he and I would finish a concert tour, he would sit at the guitar. Although he's a wonderful pianist too, but I would sit at the piano and Dan would sit at the guitar, and we'd write his better songs while we still had some time together. And we have those in our archives. And to be clear, you could write 500 songs and really only release 1 or 2 or whatever. Or you could write, 200 songs and try to release all 200. Um, that formula, I don't know. But I've written tons of songs. Some of them I released. Dan Hill and I have written some songs, and those haven't been released. But who knows? They might be on Celine Dion's next album, or something like that, or on one of my albums, or on Dan's albums. Um, but as I was thinking, to do an online presentation to my fans for Christmas, I was thinking, okay, what Christmas song should I perform? Should I do chestnuts roasting on an open fire?
Yeah.
Should I do that one, or should I? And then I just kind of sat at the piano and just started a little bit of. Don't you know it's Christmas?
Oh wow. Okay, and that leads to our next song?
And
Huh?
feel the joy.
Oh.
Yeah, that sounds kind of good. Let's see. Don't you know the feeling? For the children? No, the kiddies. Children? No, let's go with kiddies. When the kiddies get it. So, let's see. Um, that sounds good. They wrap themselves. What do they wrap themselves? Oh, they take off the presents and unwrap, and they wear nice hats in green and red and oh, and Christmas clothing. No, they wrap themselves. Oh, garb's another word. They wrap themselves in Christmas garb, decorate the tree, feeling so delightful. Celebrate with me. I wish you a. And so
Wow.
that's how a song sort of takes form. I'll do it in its entirety for you, but I was just thinking some of the process, and I'm like, well, maybe it's better if I just do something much more personal for the fans. Especially, we have not a million, we have about 10,000 Christmas songs that have been played over and over and over and over.
Right. And I'm sure you're familiar with Jose Marie Chan, right?
And Jose Marie, and one of my favorites is, and I think it's one of the Philippine favorites is the Carpenters. Greeting cards have often sent, Christmas rushes through. Merry Christmas, darling. Okay, I mean, but we play those every year. Right?
Right.
So I thought it incumbent upon myself to write something that everyone can sing along to, a simple song, because kids want to be engaged in the Christmas spirit.
Yes.
So simple lyrics, simple music, everyone can play it, everyone can sing it, and so that's what inspired me to come up with something that hopefully, with the help of you and others like you, this becomes a Christmas classic that everyone can enjoy. And it's uplifting. It's about family. It's about the kids. It's about the Christmas spirit. It's about unity. It's about love and joy throughout the world, across all borders, across all faiths, religions, everything. That we can all come together in unity, in love and harmony. That's kind of what it's about. That's
and we're talking about your newest single, right? That's Don't You Know It's Christmas, right? Yeah.
Don't you know it's Christmas?
I love it. It's not really that Christmassy, but I love how it's the lyrics, the lyrics of the song, not so scenty, not so, I know that everyone can relate to it, even the kids, and I think I'm gonna play this song over and over again, after our show today, and we would love to hear you sing this live, if it's okay. Jay Michaels.
Will do.
Yeah, please. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about this song, when you wrote this song and what was your inspiration, which you mentioned a while ago. But we want to know more about how many days you wrote this song right after you performed this live. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Jay Michaels. First, next song, wishing you all a Merry Christmas from Sundown Friday here on Hit Radio. Here we go. Take it away, Mike.
Go east and she feel the joy. Don't Don't you know the feeling? Kitties get fed. Wrap themselves in Christmas cards, decorate the tree, feeling so delightful. Celebrate with me. I wish you a Merry Christmas, joy to the world. Merry Christmas, all the boys and girls. Fill your heart with openness for everyone to share. I wish you a Merry Christmas, everyone, everywhere. Don't you know it's Christmas? There's a feeling in the air. Don't you know the happiness of families everywhere? Come together in unity, everyone to share. To put away our differences, throw away despair. I wish you a Merry Christmas, joy to the world. Merry Christmas, all boys and girls. So fill your heart with hope and peace for everyone to share. I wish you a Merry Christmas, everyone. Wish you a Merry Christmas, joy to the world. Merry Christmas, all boys and girls. So fill your heart with hope and peace for everyone to share. I wish you a Merry Christmas, everyone, everywhere. Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas to you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. And Merry Christmas to you too. Wow. I was wondering, when did you write that song and how many days were you able to finish, the whole song and everything before it came out on social media?
So the process goes like this. Like I was saying, I was just going to do another cover. I was going to cover something like Nat King Cole's "Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire." I was going to do something like that. But I decided to make it a little more personal, and like I said, something simple that the kids can sing and uplifting and great for the family. And carolers can go around the malls and homes and add this to their repertoire. I thought it should be have a simple approach, and so I just decided to write this. Now, how long did it take me to write? I did this pretty quickly, and I don't want to say by any means that every song just happens within 20 minutes or half an hour or 2 hours. Sometimes it takes a year to write a song. But I happened to write this song in about, I would say I was done in an hour. And then I don't just write the lyrics, I really write the music at the same time, or start even with the music. So I started with the premise. So I wrote it simultaneously. I know that a lot of people out there just write lyrics, or some people just write the music. A good example is one of the greatest music writers is Burt Bacharach, and he's written like Carpenter's hit, Tom Jones hits. I mean, just so many hits. But he wrote the music only. And then Hal Davis was the lyric writer. Elton John is another example. Elton John didn't write lyrics, and he has something like 75 or 80 top 10 hits across the world, but he did not write the lyrics. he wrote the music, and his writing partner, Bernie Top, both incredible writers, they did it that way. And there's a lot of collaboration, like I mentioned earlier. I've written music with Dan Hill, some songs with Dan Hill. I wrote most of the music to those. Dan wrote most of the lyrics. That doesn't mean that Dan isn't a wonderful music writer, but that's how some of these things take form. This particular song I wrote solely myself, and I wrote the music and the lyrics. So just so some of the people who don't understand the process, those are the two different categories. There's a musical composition. There's a lyrical composition.
Right.
You can be part of one, or part of both, or do both. And so that's the process. And then you have to take that and figure out the arrangement. You're going to do piano on a full orchestration. You're going to have drums, piano, keyboards, organ, string section. You're going to have obviously drums. You might have percussion, conga. This was a very simple song that I wanted to release pretty quickly, and I didn't want it very complicated. I wanted it very simple, so folks can sit around the Christmas tree and somebody can play it with their guitar. You know, those nice chords. Very simple to learn and play along with. And so I wanted a very easy approach for this to reach as many people. But when it comes to songwriting as a whole, there's the music, there's the lyrics, and there's the arrangement, and that can be somebody altogether different. And there's the engineering of recording it, and then it's a long process to get the song from just inside your head to get it out to the people in airplay. It's a long, tedious process. Requires a lot of dedication, and sometimes a lot of money, but it takes a lot of work. But it all starts with a creative idea within someone's head. Yeah. And it's taken from there. This is an art form. It's a true art form. We all love our music. It doesn't matter if you love rock and roll or R&B or classical music or jazz. It's all music, and it's an art form, and it requires dedication to making it come to people.
Yeah, that's really true. And I think passion is also very important, right? For you to be able to express yourself, right? And be able to, to give justice to a song, you really have to have that love for music and your passion. Well, we were talking about the different genres a while ago. What particular genre are you into as a musician, as a performer? Ever since you've been performing, I know you're performing around the world, what particular genre are you really into?
I have to say that the music that I enjoy, if I just, it's not even a CD anymore. It used to be a tape. Before that, it was an 8-track. Right. But now, either you're listening to the radio or you put your flash drive or Bluetooth. So if I'm driving in the car and I'm going to listen to artists that really, and my influences would come from jazz, jazz artists, original jazz artists like Nat King Cole, Coltrane, Miles Davis. I love music like that. But I love some of these classic vocalists. Like I absolutely, and who doesn't adore Tom Jones? Not unusual to be loved by anyone.
Wow. I didn't know that you sing Tom Jones.
Oh, I absolutely love Tom Jones. I may not do it justice all the time, but Tom Jones and Engelbert with their big. So I sing you to sleep after the loving. And I love that stuff. But I also like the classic rock stuff, from Boston, Journey. Who doesn't like it? And we're so proud of Arnel Pineda for being part of Journey.
Right.
Like Steve Perry with all of those original huge hits, Open Arms, Faithfully.
Foolish Heart.
Just phenomenal. So that stuff influenced me. But conversely, the interesting thing, the guy that influenced Steve Perry the original singer of Open Arms and Faithfully. The guy that influenced him the most was Sam Cooke. And Sam Cooke is an R&B artist that wrote and sang a whole bunch of tunes from the 50s and 60s. His demise, of course, he got shot. I don't know if you know the story of Sam Cooke. But he had huge hits on the radio, and he's one of my big influences. So Steve Perry and myself were influenced by Sam Cooke. And you can hear it in Steve Perry's music. I don't know if you can hear it in mine, but you can hear it in Steve.
Oh yeah, it was Steve Perry, right? Foolish Heart, right? He sang that song, right?
Lying beside you here in the dark.
No, I mean the Foolish Heart. Foolish Heart.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's Steve Perry. Foolish Heart.
Yeah.
Correct. And then I worked with and got the opportunity to work with some of these musicians and artists. For example, Toto. I mean, their music writing. The Picaro brothers and the original lead singer Bobby Kimball. He and I have done some shows together, and so that's been wonderful. So I've gotten to work with a lot of my heroes and a lot of these guys, and some not. But when I'm sitting and listening to the car, I'll listen to the OJs, I'll listen to the Manhattans, I'll listen to the Four Tops, and I'll listen to Journey and Boston, and I'll even listen to some classical music, Papa Bell. This was written in 1700 or 1600 something. And it's still played at weddings. That was written in the year 1590 by the name of Paco Bell. Paco Bell. And still in weddings today, that's played as the background music, as the bride comes down. So, I mean, you have to admire, and that's even before everyone's heard of Mozart, everyone's heard of Beethoven and Bach. But Paco Bell, his biggest hit, we're going to call it a hit, was written in 15-something, and it's still played today in weddings as one of the most beautiful tunes ever. So obviously I'm influenced and I love the music, and we have to appreciate where real rhythm came out of Africa and understanding that all came out of Africa. That comes out of Africa. And that influence came in through the West Indies, through Jamaica and places like that. And so the African beat was picked up by artists like Bob Marley, and hence music like reggae was formed. And I'm a huge fan of Bob Marley and what he's brought to the world. So when you ask about, well, what is your genre? What do you enjoy? I love music, and I really try to incorporate all the influences and even the guest artists in my show. People Bryson is an R&B artist, and he's well recognized all across, of course, even in pop music. But we have R&B artists. We have Jimmy Jameson. He's a rock and roll guy. Ever since the world began, Eye of the Tiger. So I mean, we really tried to cover all of the all the genres and represent them best possible, and I love them all, from classical to jazz to rock and roll to R&B. I just really, even some of the new age guys, or even the country artists, some of the best writers come out of the country. Garth Brooks has written some of the most amazing songs. If tomorrow never comes.
Oh yeah, I love that.
That's a song that really makes you think. Tell that someone that you love just what you're thinking of. If tomorrow never comes.
Oh my God, that's gonna make me cry.
Come on, you can't not cry.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I haven't called my mom in 2 weeks.
Exactly. Oh my God. No, I don't want to talk about that, please. Oh man, it really scares me. But yeah, some songs really just hit you, that hard right there. Yeah, I know how it feels. Yeah.
And please, if you'll allow me, and I have to apologize to Benny because he's a very close friend and one of my big influences, big influence. His name is Benny Mardones. And the name may not jump out at you. Wow, oh yeah, Benny, or Mike. But Benny wrote one of the top 25 most played songs in the history of music. In other words, this song has been on the radio more than almost every song on earth. And one of the songs that beats it is "Oh My Love."
Oh yeah.
But that's not the song.
Oh, okay. I thought that's one.
It's included in this list of the most played songs in history. It's called "Into the Night." It goes, "If I could fly, I'd pick you up, I'd take you into the night, to show you a love like you've never seen." It's a huge hit all across the world. And when I was a kid, when I mean a kid, like 17, 16, and that song came out, and I'm like, man, I hope I get to sing with this guy on the stage one day. And my very first Love Rock show, the trademark show, he was my John Portcoley, Joe Puerta from Ambrosia, the lead singer, and I had Benny Mardones, singer of Into the Night, and boy, he brought the house down when he sang Into the Night. And he lost his life. He passed away about a year and a half ago. He had Parkinson's, and unfortunately succumbed to that. But he was just a gem to work with. And having writing one of the biggest songs in the history of the world, one of the top 25. And that song went to number one in 1981. And then it went to number one again in 1989. Wow. That doesn't happen. Well, it happened to his song. It's like a DJ just rediscovered it. Wow, that's a great song. And then, but in '89, we didn't have internet to go look up who did this and all that. It's just like, wow, this is a great song. And a radio station in New York started playing it again. Then the stations all across the United States, all across the world, started playing it again. So it hit the charts again spontaneously. And no song, really very few songs have ever done that, unless they were released in a movie or something like that. He inspired me to write, to sing, and to just really project your voice. He's one of those guys that, Lucio Pavarotti, oh, sole mio. Just get it out.
Wow. Okay. I couldn't imagine you performing on stage with that kind of, voice and all. I never saw you perform like that. You were always like the jazzy, artist and, with a blingy outfit or costume that you have. Yeah, that's how I know Jay Michaels.
People Bryce had told me a long time. We were touring in Japan, probably in 1992, I'm going to say, right when the song "A Whole New World" came out, and he had already done "Beauty and the Beast" with Celine Dion. People was telling me, one thing you got to remember: always look better, always dress better than everyone on stage. So that's the funny story. Is that when people and I went on stage together, we kind of be like, okay, well, whose jacket looks better? Does my jacket look better? No, it's a great jacket, except for a different side, Like he's like, wow, who's your tailor? Man, I want to make some jackets. And I'm like, wow, who's your tailor? I want to make some jackets like that. So,
okay, so that's the story behind all those bling.
That's the story behind always look better or always outdress your audience and the rest of your members on stage. You always have to look. If you look impeccable and you feel impeccable, then you can perform impeccably well. You have to feel the part. And that's not to take any away. I mean, everyone has their own style. I
Right.
mean, we can't. I mean, Bob Marley went on stage with nothing but t-shirts, his dreadlocks, and slippers. We call them slippers in America.
Right.
Uh, and and sometimes shorts and phenomenal performance. But the style of performance that we do is within showrooms and these kind of venues. We're representing our style, which is a very, not necessarily formal, but it's a very upscale style, and I learned this from Peeble Bryson. I learned this from Tom Jones. I've learned this from watching Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra is one of the guys that influenced, what's the other rap act? Dean Martin. When the moon hits the sky like a big pizza pie, that's amore. That's Dean Martin. That's from the 50s. He's a big Vegas cat along with Frank Sinatra. And those are the guys that influenced Engelbert, and in turn, Engelbert influenced me. This is the genesis of how one is influenced. Hopefully, I've influenced a few either musicians or writers or performers to do things. Take from my playbook, add your own things, add your own flair. And that's all great. One of the real flamboyant performers was Elton John, with his big hats and fancy clothes and all kinds of colors and all that. Elton John, always these strange glasses. I think he even had glasses that look like this. And Stephen Bishop, one of my regular performing buddies, Stephen Bishop, always wore a striped shirt that went this way, and then his pants were stripes that went that way, and then a polka dot hat. And Stephen Bishop had this. He always made a statement.
Yeah.
And I remember Kula Desma, and we're doing a show, and Stephen's going to go on, and she said, "Is he really going to wear that? I'm wearing a gown. I'm wearing a gown." And I said, "That's Stephen. That's just Stephen. And you can't change him. God bless him for being who he is." And and by the way, kudos to Stephen. He is he's finishing up his autobiography, which is going to be a book and a movie. So folks, and I know there's just tons of Stephen Bishop fans out there. That's going to be coming out soon. So we'll keep posted. I'll give him a ring and see exactly when that's coming out. So wonderful autobiography. He's co-written with guys like Phil Collins, with Sting, with Dave Grusin, with Eric Clapton. He's done a lot of stuff with Eric Clapton and worked with Shaka Khan. Everyone knows Shaka Khan.
Of course.
Yeah, in the Philippines. So Stephen's past is just amazing. So it's going to be an amazing book and video coming out with Stephen Bishop's autobiography. It should be done very shortly.
Yeah, I actually always notice that, whenever there are foreign artists who performs, they really have that character. You really notice how they dress up. Everything is really different, and maybe that's how they define, or their character. How they want themselves to be presented, to their audience, and maybe that's how they show respect by being, looking beautiful, or looking really different or unique. Just I think that also adds to the entertainment part, right? Aside from the very nice voice, with the costume, the outfit that they're wearing, it's simply wow, something different.
And I agree with that. And to clarify, I mean, I absolutely, when I bring up Kula Desma and her performance, and she's an amazing vocalist.
Yes,
and
she is.
She really puts a lot of emphasis and efforts in picking these absolutely gorgeous gowns.
Yes, that's true.
And such detail going into how she looks, how she feels, how she performs on stage.
Yeah.
I understand her reaction, like, okay, I'm in this beautiful gown, and Stephen, oh my gosh, we're just gonna clash. But the truth is, The truth is they, I mean, how they perform, it just transcends everything. Because the duet that they did together was, You Call Me From the Moon, off the romance. I'm trying to think of the name of the song. You have no right
Oh
to
yeah, to
ask
ask
me
me
how
how
I
I
feel.
feel.
So they did that as a duet. That's a
You
song that
have
Stephen
no
Bishop
right.
wrote. But Phil Collins covered it. Everyone thinks Phil Collins, and and I apologize for getting the co-vocalist, the female vocalist on the song. But everyone thinks that Phil Collins wrote it. No, Stephen Bishop wrote it. And so we have that
Oh,
song always in all our concerts. So again, Kula
okay.
Desma had the opportunity to sing
Yeah,
uh,
what's the title of that
Separate
song?
Lives.
Yeah,
Separate Lives.
Separate Lives. Oh, okay,
So we'll
really?
go on living
Oh, yeah,
separate
yeah,
lives.
Separate Lives.
And so Kula
Oh,
Desma and Stephen sang that. Stephen dressed all in his crazy outfit, and
yeah,
then cool in her
beautiful
beautiful
gown.
gown, and
Yeah.
they sounded amazing
Uh
singing it
huh.
together, and it just brought down the house.
I could just imagine. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know how you know. Actually, I really like to watch concert whenever the artists really dress up differently, uniquely, like how you do. I'm always amazed because not the usual thing, the shirts or the plain coat and tie. It's not really pleasing to the eyes because you're there to watch a show, to be entertained, not just to listen, right? Otherwise, just listen to the radio. So I really appreciate all those artists who really put a lot of effort into how they look, and that's actually how the Sorts World Manila is. The how shall I say that, the world class performance that they
facility.
bring into the image. It's
Yeah,
really something. And I actually learned that when I was at Resort World, that you really have to look your best all the time because that's how you present yourself to the people, and that's how you show respect to all those people that you're dealing with. And up to these days, I still uh, practice that, apply that whenever I go out. Sometimes, when I just buy something, I'm just wearing shorts, and I was like, oh my God, I hope that, no one's gonna see me, wearing like this. You really feel that, that thing already, that you're always conscious all the time because you really feel that, whenever you wear, how should I say that? Not really formal, but you wear pleasant, clothes. You really
yeah.
feel good. Actually, it's like, how should I say that? It's like,
We said it in the old days. We said it in the old days. Dress for success.
yeah, dress for success. That's right, and dress to impress. That's really true. That's why whenever you attend, interviews, they always say that you really have to dress that well because they always say that first impression lasts, right? I always believe in that. I don't know with you, Jay. Do you believe in that, motto?
You
First
can
impression
never,
lasts.
yes, the first, you can never make, you can never make a second impression. Your first
Right.
impression is the one that always sticks with everyone.
That's
You know,
right.
you never have a second chance to make a first impression. That's
Yeah.
the full quote. You never have a second chance to make a first impression. And that's absolutely true. But if someone's
Mm-hmm.
coming to my show for the first time, and the first thing I walk out there and I look hopefully amazing, uh,
Okay.
that's the first thought. Okay, okay, I don't know who this guy is. I came to see the other guy, but wow, he looks great, dressed really well, and then hopefully the rest of it takes over, sings well and presents well and greets the audience. But that's the first impression as I walk out on stage. That's the first visual they see of me,
Yeah.
and that's where the first impression comes from. And I learned this a long time ago, thanks to someone like Peter Bryson. And so, absolutely, that I've adapted and agree with that premise completely, and I stick with it. So every concert, especially when I have multiple artists, I
Mm.
have three or four, at least three or four changes, different suits and things that every time I come out on stage, I'm wearing something different, and so that's just a principle I follow. You need to look good, feel good, practice hard, hone your skills, and make the best of it all. And another thing, and people Bryson has taught me a lot, and he said this, Jay, whether it's 2 people that show up
Mm-hmm.
or 20,000 people show up,
Uh-huh.
you give it your all, period.
Oh, okay.
Nothing means anything but your best performance, and it doesn't matter what the crowd is. Don't let things discourage you. Things are out of your hands. Not everything is in the artist's hands.
Yeah.
As far as, when there's a crowd or things like that, there's a lot more moving parts than just the artist's performance. The thing that the artist is in charge of, and the thing that is the artist is responsible, is giving it their all once they hit the stage. You deal with everything as it is, and you go out there and put the best performance on, whether it's 2 people or 200, 2,000 or 2 million. That's how we do it.
Wow, that's right. That's actually a very good tip, especially to all those artists are out there who are just starting, this new, it's a really great tip for you out there. You really have to dress to impress. You can actually wear, secondhand clothes, not really expensive. Doesn't have to be expensive, because there are so many clothes in, ukay, right? They're branded, and as long as you just know how to choose carefully, wow, you'll definitely rock. When we come back, we'll talk about, Filipino audience and, some experiences that you had with this international artists. And then the other part of our story will be next week, ladies and gentlemen, on September 17. For now, I want to share with them one of your very nice music videos, that I really want to share with everyone. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fly Away. Please stand by. We'll come back with Jay Michaels here on Sundown Friday. Hi, Sir Bong Rivera. Thank you for watching.
The rain is falling down, my life has just begun. 'Cause you shine a light that makes me come alive. And now that the moon holds a candle in the sky, I wanna be with you together through the night. Why don't we fly away, hand in hand against the sky? Why don't we fly away, you and I, far away to a place where our dreams will never die? Why don't we fly away alone? Let's fly away alone, far, far away alone. Let's fly away alone. I wouldn't want to go to heaven without you by my side. You're my angel, you're my guiding light. And now that we've come this far to reach this paradise, supernatural, this love is right. Why don't we fly away, hand in hand against the sky? Why don't we fly away, you and I, far away to a place where time is on our side? Why don't we fly away, long gone, long gone? Let's fly away alone, far, far away alone. Let's fly away alone.
Let's fly away.
Why don't we fly away, hand in hand against the sky? Why don't we fly away, you and I, far away to a place where our dreams will never die? Why don't we fly away alone? Let's fly away alone, far, far away alone. Let's fly away alone. Let's fly away. Let's fly away. Let's fly
Wow, that's a very nice music video. When did you shoot that one?
Oh, that. Thank you for asking. Because that was probably one of my most enjoyable music videos to shoot. That was shot on location in Prague, Czech Republic, in Dublin, Ireland,
Wow.
in London, UK,
Ooh.
and some of it was in Germany, in Berlin, So
Oh,
I
my.
in 4 locations, kind of traveled throughout the European region and shot in wonderful places, very very historic thing. Oh, and Brussels, Brussels was also one of the places. So it was a lot of fun to shoot. I have to say that Prague and Dublin, Ireland, are just two of my favorite places to travel to, and an amazing place. And you know the funny thing? Okay,
Uh-huh.
so I'm walking through the streets in Dublin,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the first restaurants I noticed, oh, Pinoy food.
Okay. Okay.
So, and then I'm walking through Wenceslas Square in Czech Republic, in Prague. And
Uh-huh.
I see this nice group of coming down. I could tell they're Asians, and as they came closer, oh, they were all speaking Tagalog. So
Wow. Filipinos are really everywhere, right?
everywhere, everywhere, including here, Dubai. I think a lot of, if I go to a restaurant and the server or the hostess is Pinay or Pinoy, and then I speak a little bit in Tagalog, and then they're looking at, wow, look at this white guy. They can tell we're Filipino, and he's speaking Tagalog for us. Salamat, and ingat.
It's really amazing. Wow. But I really like that music video of yours. And I think that title of that song really suits, the places that you've been to. That's why maybe it's Fly Away, right?
Yes,
I know you've
yeah.
traveled around the world. And this time, this is my last question for you before you sing your last song. And then next week, we're going to continue your journey. Next week, we're going to talk about your experiences with all the Love Rock shows that you did, some of your most memorable moments. But this time, I would like to ask you, how do you describe Filipino fans?
Enthusiastic, energetic, faithful, loyal. I just find them very, very endearing. And one of the great things is definitely nearly all of the songs. Nearly all of the songs, unless it's something that's kind of new or we just kind of spring it on them. They're really singing along, and not just with my stuff. With Michael Johnson,
Of course.
John Ford Coley. I mean, let me just say, like John Ford Coley, everyone, and I mean everyone in the
Of
house.
course, of course.
Just tell me you love me.
Yeah.
And swaying back and forth, and it's just. And I have to say, when I do a show in the Philippines, or anywhere. I'll put this into perspective. Anywhere I go, I do tailor the show uh, based on what my audience has a tendency to like. I mean, I'll do the songs that are on my album, but I have different, more upbeat songs on the album. I have more rock and roll, kind of rock and roll stuff. I have some more R&B. I have some more jazz stuff. But in the Philippines, it really, they don't mind. They really love, as a matter of fact, all of these love songs. So Feel So Right is just fine. One of my biggest tunes that absolutely everyone loves and sings along to, Wildflower. I think I'll sing that for you next week.
Yeah, please, please. Yeah, I love that.
Let's do something big next week, Wildflower. That's my most requested song, obviously. Let her cry, for she's a lady. Anyway,
Yeah, I remember you singing that in one of your Love Rock show. I'm not sure if it's People Bryson's show or Dan Hill. I just can't remember, but I know you sang that. I love that.
yeah, and so as far as airplay and hits and on the radio and things like that, that would be one of the top ones that I had success with. Though I didn't write it, that was originally. I'll come back with his name because my mind's all over it. Anyway, we try to tailor the shows really to the audience, and I pick guests to be in my Love Rock shows really based on what really works for the region. The cool thing is, even if I'm doing, I did a show somewhat recently before the pandemic hit in Northern California, and Stephen Bishop and Dan Hill and John Ford Coley. I had 3 guests in that show: John Ford Coley, Stephen Bishop, Dan Hill, and even though, for example, one of the shows was San Mateo, California, United States, 50% of the audience, at least 50% of the audience, were Filipino.
Oh, wow. Really?
This is California. So that says a lot. That a lot of the artists that I work with, as well as my music, really touches a chord with the Philippine audience. The love. I mean, it might be you, Stephen Bishop, A Whole New World, People Bryson. If ever you're in my arms again,
Yeah.
Bryson. Tonight I celebrate my love, People Bryson. John Ford Coley's big hits, and Dan Hill, Sometimes When We Touch.
Yeah, I love that. Can you sing that next week? That's actually one of my personal favorites. When I was still in grade school, I so loved that song. I don't know why. And then until I saw Dan Hill, I said, wow, dream come true.
Well, to put that into context, I love Sometimes When We Touch. I don't perform it. I've actually never even learned it. I can sing along with it, of course, because it's one of my favorite songs.
Okay.
But for me to sing it, I'm so close to Dan. I feel like, well, I'd rather have Dan.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean that's kind of and never thought you know the song.
Yeah,
like Dan,
of course.
Never thought that I
Could
would
be.
love.
Yeah, I know that song.
And that became one of the biggest wedding hits.
Yes,
first dance, the couple.
that's right.
Never thought that I could love. He actually wrote that about his mother when his mother was in the hospital. And it's a very personal story. And the interesting thing is, and all these artists do it, is they share their beautiful stories behind the songs that they've written. And a lot of people think, okay, he wrote that about
For somebody.
his girlfriend or his wife.
Yeah, that's what I thought so. But I think I heard him, telling that story during his show.
That's a pretty simple assumption, but it's actually written about his mom. He was so emotional when he went to visit her in the hospital, and it's better if he tells the story. But I mean, this is where the inspiration to things come from. Sometimes he went down to the piano. There was a chapel in the hospital, and he went and sat at the piano, and he started writing. Can I touch you? Can't believe that you are real. You're too beautiful for you and I. and that's about his mom. And now you want to cry, don't you?
Yeah,
Because
I
I heard
know.
the first time I heard it, I'm like, oh my God. And I couldn't stop the tears from coming. I just couldn't. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so amazed. And so back to one of our original topics is what is it like to see Jay Michaels? What is it like to see Dan Hill? What is it like to see Peebo Bryson? What is it like to see Stephen Bishop? And the list goes on. What is it like to see them in person? What is the experience with an in-person, personal concert? Well, you sit and you listen to how all this happened. What is a real story? And I promise you, when you go see Dan Hill live, and he tells a story about how he was inspired, not only to write the story that goes behind sometimes when you touch, the story that goes behind never thought. I guarantee you, you cannot help yourself but be emotional and really be drawn into what is this music really about. This is the inspiration. And you can't get that just listening to the radio. You can't get this, and we cannot deliver the emotion on that level in any form, but then coming to you live. This is what we missed. This is what we love. This needs to come back, and hopefully before we lose too many more. Yeah.
Thank you, Jay Michaels. Yeah, I know. I remember Dan Hill telling that story. When he performed, and I remembered I actually cried because of that story. Because I always thought that song was someone, for someone, a girlfriend or a special girl. But when I learned it was for his mom, it's like, oh my God, I didn't know that. And it's like, whew.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he was able to sing that song really well. I'm not sure. I really can't. I'm not sure if Dan Hill was able to sing that song.
When he came and did that concert, he just came out of an illness, and he was still quite weak. And nonetheless, I think he did. Obviously, he delivered a very emotional performance.
Yeah, I remember that. There was a crack in the voice. I believe.
He just came out of a pretty serious illness, and the first set of fans that he came to see and took a chance on is, and we as fans, because I'm a fan too, even though I'm performing and I'm performing with him, and I'm the host on stage, I'm a fan listening to Dan Hill at the same time. And to me, all the forgiveness in the world, because he mustered up every bit of strength that he could to fly 8,000 miles or 10,000 miles halfway around the world. It's literally halfway around the world from Toronto, his home, to come to the Philippines, put on a concert. So that, and then coming out of a pretty serious illness. And his first audience he agreed to do was a Philippine audience. And so I'm extremely grateful for that effort, and I'm sure Philippine fans, as difficult to sing some of his songs at that time was, he came and did it and put on a wonderful performance. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm sticking with it.
All right, so we'll talk more about your love rock shows next week, and we want to know your experiences in every show that you do, in every show that you're in. And next week also we're gonna find out what was your first love rock show. It's gonna be next week, ladies and gentlemen. But this time, let's promote your WEG. Everyone's seeing right now on the screen. I put your logo there. Yeah, it's there actually. Tell us more about your company and what you do. The WEG, W-E-G.
World Entertainment Group is actually the company that I am partners in, but it's the agency that represents me and does all the bookings for Love Rocks. So that's the agency, World Entertainment Group, and they do bookings worldwide. What I would like to try and promote, and I try to respond to all the artists, the fans on Facebook and things like that, but I'm not the guy that actually runs my page. What is my Facebook page? Please go ahead and like and follow me on Facebook, which is The Real J Michaels.
Okay, the
So
real J
Facebook,
Michaels.
The
Okay.
Real J Michaels, that's my fan page. And then my YouTube channel, am I correct? And I'm asking my boss here. The Real J Michaels is what you subscribe to on
That's a
YouTube.
YouTube,
The
right?
Real J Michaels is our YouTube. And then we just started IG. I know some of us older artists are only coming up to speed with all the new things, but we do have an IG
Yeah.
page, which is also The Real J Michaels. We really appreciate liking, commenting, sharing. There's lots of the love rock stuff there, and all the artists that I'm talking about, and music from there. The Real J Michaels Facebook page, The Real J Michaels, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and The Real J Michaels on Instagram. Thank you so much. I do look forward to our meeting again next week. I will
Yep.
have some music for you with me here at the piano, and we'll cover more of this. And hopefully, and you tell me if this works or not. If you have any fans that email you or message you with questions they may have for me, I'll be
Okay.
glad to take questions from the audience. About anything at all. Even if it's about science, which I know nothing about. Even if it's about building the Burj Khalifa here in Dubai, which I know nothing about.
Okay. Yeah. We'll let you know. Yeah. So everyone who are watching right now, if you have questions for J Michaels, just let me know. Send me a message on our Facebook page or to my personal Facebook. That's Gail De Assis. And actually, we're live also on YouTube. So thank you so much. Please don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel of The Real J Michaels. Follow him and like all his posts on IG and of course on his Facebook page. And at this point, Mike, what's your last song for all of us today? Well, Filipinos are preparing their dinner, and I know you guys are. I don't know what time is it there. 2:37, preparing your merienda, I guess. I don't know if you guys are doing that.
Actually, since this happened during lunch, we're gonna have our lunch following this. I actually, and I was asked to prepare two songs.
Okay, sure.
So-
Wow,
so-
great.
to prepare two songs, and I've done two. So here, I'm just going to do a portion of the third one and just give people a teaser. And the reason why I'm doing this is because you mentioned you really love uplifting songs, and well, this one just kind of tears your heart apart because it's about a girl ripping the guy's heart.
Oh man, oh no.
Stomping on it. I'm just going to do a little bit of it.
But do you have something there for Eric? Like a healing song? This one's for all of you, ladies and gentlemen, from J Michaels, a great artist here on Sundown Friday.
I can tell by your eyes, probably crying for it. And the stars in the sky don't mean much to you, they're just a mirror. I don't wanna talk about it, how it broke my heart. If I stay here just a little longer, if I stay here, won't you listen to my heart, to my heart? So I tell you what,
What?
I'll do the whole song next time. I just wanted to give everyone a teaser for next time. But that's a song that just rips it out.
I know.
She broke his heart bad. Can you tell? Can you tell? That she broke his heart.
Maybe next week you can also wear your, the bling coat that you're wearing on the show. I love that.
I'll do some bling for you next week. Okay?
Yay.
All right. Great talking to you. Thank you for having me. I look forward to questions from the fans next week if
Right.
they reach out, and we'll do some more music. And as we say in Hawaii, we talk story. We're just talking about the history and the story of a journey in this life. So thank you for your time. I want to thank your audience worldwide. I don't know. I guess there are Philippines worldwide, and thank you everyone for tuning in, and much appreciated. Salamat.
Thank you very much, Jay Michaels. Thank you so much for being here on the show. See you again next week, 5 o'clock Philippine time here on Sundown Friday on Hit Radio. Wow, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful music, your wonderful story. We're not yet over. Part 2, the next week. Don't forget, September 17. Please, please, please mark your calendars. And if you have any requests from Jay Michaels, from his favorite artists, like, from People Ryson, Dan Hill, Chanford Coley, Stephen Bishop, and, the rest that we mentioned a while ago, just let me know, all right? Send me a message, and we will ask Jay Michaels to sing that next week. Whew, maybe I can sing along with you next week. Sometimes when we touch, just to, some parts of that song, but I have to practice. I still have 1 week to master that song. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the rest of your Friday here on Hit Radio. Again, thank you. Thank you, Jay Michaels. Regards to your loved ones out there, and you take care. Bye-bye. Thank you. Here's another music video.
Your captivating eyes, clever way they smile, stops him in his tracks. Then at your pretty face, you keep him in his place. He'd do anything you ask. They broke in the mold, more precious than gold. When you're standing there, disappears. It would be a crime to ever let you go. He should be inclined to keep you very close. No one else compares. You're a cut above the rest. He'd be such a fool if he should ever leave you. Careful what you do. He's so in love with you, you might tear him apart. To watch the way you move, it's obvious that you were made for breaking hearts. Out of your lips, those soft fingertips, the curve of your waist, you're perfectly made. It would be a crime to ever let you go. He should be inclined. No one else compares, you're a cut above the rest. He'd be such a fool if he should ever leave you. Captivating eyes, subtle way you smile, sets him in a spin. Subtle way you smile.
Wala.
Pakinggan mga awit na alay ko sa'yo, binibigas ang pag-ibig na dulot mo. Pwede ba na ikaw ay aking ligawan, dahil ang puso ko'y nabihag mo. Gustuhin ko man nakalimutan ka, pero di ko magawa, tuluyan na bigani sa ganda ng iyong mga mata. Di ko alam kung paano, pero gusto kita. Pangarap ko ang mahawakan ka, mahakang mayakap ka, sa gabing malamig ikaw ang aking makasama. Dahil gustong gusto kita, yeah, yeah. Maaari ba na ikaw ay aking mayaya, sumayaw ng mabagal kasabay ng tugtog, dahil nga sa iyo ako'y nahulog. Pwede ba na ikaw ay dalhin sa dambana, dahil ang puso ko'y nabihag mo. Gustuhin ko man nakalimutan ka, pero di ko magawa, tuluyan na bigani sa ganda ng iyong mga mata. Di ko alam kung paano, pero gusto kita. Pangarap ko ang mahawakan ka, mahakang mayakap ka, sa gabing malamig ikaw ang aking makasama. Dahil gustong gusto kita, yeah. Magawa tuluyan na bigani sa ganda ng iyong mga mata. Di ko alam kung paano, pero gusto kita. Pangarap ko ang mahawakan ka, mahakang mayakap ka, sa gabing malamig ikaw ang aking makasama. Dahil gustong gusto kita, yeah, yeah. Dahil gustong gusto kita, dahil gustong gusto kita, dahil gustong gusto kita.
Kagahapon ang nauya puros batanon, murag gabantay ka og bata, mura sila gaduwa-duwa. Unsaon na ang kaugmaon kung ako rang magpakaon. Gusto sa po ako'y agaron, kanang hangyo tai ang tumanon, nya naka-jackpot man kaniabot sa o kalit. Jud ko ga-expect aduna lang yung issue, di madawat sa kong amigo. Idaran siya, medya ang deprensya, unsaon ko pagpasabot. Kay nga naman di ay tigawang nasiya, unya ang akong igad katong aras iya. Muingon man mog nangita ko papa, wak jud ko'y labot, basta sakto ang gugma. Dili naman tamag una-una, sabay ingon dayon nang itara jud ko kwarta. Ka-eskwela ra ba jud ko og tarong, ibog lang jud mo sa gugmang way makapugong. Gugmang way makapugong, gugmang way makapugong. Karon lang ko nagmalipayon, kay siya mapinanggaon. Wa pagani ko kasturya, kahibaw na siya sa kong gipangita. Wa na jud ko'y mapangayo, siya jud ang sa dughan ko ang tanang tubag sa kong mga damgo. Nya nakajakpat man kay niabot sa ukali. Hanggi pangita ko tuwa sa iya, wabiadyod ko ga-expect. Aduna lang yung issue, di madawat sa kong amigo. Idaran siya, medya ang diferensya, ang saan ko pagpasabot. Kay nga naman di ay tigubang nasiya, unya ang akong edad katong aras iya. Muingon man mo nang hita ko papa, wajud ko'y labot basta sakto ang gugma. Dili lang unta mag-una-una, sabay ingon na yun ang gitara jud ko kwarta. Ka-eskwela ra ba jud ko og tarong, ibog lang jud mo sa gugmang way makapugong. Daghan kayo kong nabaton, kanang words of wisdom og life lessons. Kanya naman di ay tiguang nasiya, unya ang akong edad katong aras iya. Muingon man mo nangita ko papa, wajud ko'y labot basta sakto ang gugma. Dili lang unta makuna-una, sabay ingon dayon ang gitara gyud ko kwarta. Ka-eskwela ra ba jud ko og tarong, ibog lang jud mo sa gugmang way makapugong.
If it is too loud, you're too old. Radio 100.7. From the capital city of the Philippines. On air and online. On air and online. The station that plays the biggest hits. This is Manila's Radio 100.7.